All right, welcome to the podcast, Talk Like a Viking. I'm Joe Chevalier, and I'll be here to talk to you about all things Valhalla and Valkyrie racing and all things triathlon as well. So please like, subscribe, watch the videos, listen to it on the Apple Podcast or Google Podcast, wherever you're listening to that stuff. Um, and the more you listen, you may have some opportunities to win some gear, like that's what's going to happen today. So, with that, joining me today is none other than our team leader himself, Team Dad, Mr. Steve Hardy. With that, I'll hand it over to Steve to kind of introduce himself and let us know all things about Steve Hardy and what he wants to talk about with Valhalla and Valkyrie Racing today.
Oh man, here we go. All right. Well, I think most of you know me. I am Steve Hardy, the Steve Hardy. It's kind of like the Ohio State. Sorry, Joe. That was kind of a something you don't want to hear.
Boo.
Yeah, boo, boo, boo. Yeah, I mean a little bit about me. So obviously, I've been part of this team since the inception back in I don't know 1947. It feels like, but no, we're in our ninth year. So 2016 was our first competitive year. I think the registration for that started in late 15. I know that Lars and a few folks actually raced under the banner in 2015, but as far as I know, that was not an open enrollment period. That was them testing the waters for Lars's baby that he's been trying to hatch for quite some time, apparently since he lived in California. So it finally came to fruition here. So, yep, been on the team since then. There were, what, 8 of us at that first team meeting
Yeah, that's about
or
right. Eight or
so.
ten people. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that picture's still out there somewhere.
it is. It's still floating around. But yeah, and ever since then, we just kind of, kind of naturally rolled into a position where I kind of took off with the Facebook page and was driving a little bit of the social activity and the, both on social media and in person. And it's just kind of a role that stuck over time. And here we are. Here we are 9 years later, and I now own the team. That's weird.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
quite the little story. Yeah, over the years. Yeah, going from team dad to now you're team dad and owner, CEO,
Yeah, yeah.
running the thing.
Feels like the
Although we
team
gotta,
granddad, actually.
I don't know, I don't know about that yet. You're not quite granddad status yet, are you?
It could be. I'm old enough to be. Let's just say I have peers that are grandkids or people that I, went to high school with and all that. So I'm definitely
Oh
old
man,
enough to be doing that. Yeah, yeah.
I
One of the
think you're old
senior
enough to be
statesmen
my
of the
dad
team.
too. So.
I might be. I might be. Yeah, yeah. Definitely. All right.
So, I
Yeah.
I guess before we jump right into the things, how was your holidays? Let's talk about that. So, did you get any triathlon related stuff, or did Anna kind of hold out on you on that and said you buy all that crap anyways?
Yeah, we're both at a stage where we buy the stuff that we I guess really want slash need, and of course, need in air quotes,
Yeah.
as we
Yep.
as we see it and need it. And so which kind of makes the holiday gift giving a little more difficult because then you got to find that little niche product that says, okay, this is the kind of stuff she likes, or this is the kind of stuff I like, and fitting
Hmm.
into getting into gift giving and that. But overall, really good. I think most of you saw the holiday ugly sweater that she got me with the fa la 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 la
Yeah,
Valhalla
that was a
la.
good
Yeah,
one. Yeah, on the Facebook post that you made. Yep.
yeah, yeah. So that was a great gift that will get worn. Hate to say it, but well past Christmas, I'm sure. Uh,
Christmas
you'll
in
be
July.
seeing that
Yeah,
around. Yeah,
might be a little sweaty in July, but yeah, we're in July too.
if it's below 60, I'm probably going to be in it. So just keep an eye out for that. Yeah,
Awesome.
so
Yeah, I can't
overall,
say.
good, good. So the kids are out of the house, so I don't really have the small kid gift giving. They came over Christmas morning. We did the gifts. I mean,
Yeah.
my youngest will be 21 Monday,
Oh
and
man.
yeah, yep. And my oldest is is 23, so she's already out of school and doing her thing, and he's got a year left.
Yeah, and I'm on the complete opposite where my kids
Yeah,
are still in elementary school running around keeping us busy. And heck,
yeah,
half the time I was struggling just to schedule this podcast with you is because I was like, "Ah, I got this
that's
kid
true.
thing and this kid thing." I even
Yeah,
told you beforehand, I said, "Hey, I might have to cut out a segment because a kid might be showing up at my house." So, yeah.
that's all good.
Yep. So, any plans for 2024 for racing, or are you gonna be trying to be team dad the whole way through the year?
Oh no, I'll be doing my races. I'll do another short course year. Like
Yeah,
me some short course. I like me some short course training is what I really like.
I
Uh,
completely agree with you.
but uh,
I think
but
the last
yeah,
the last chat we had with Yana, she's like, if I'm gonna do all this training, I'm gonna do Ironmans. I'm like, man, I wish. When I wake up Saturday morning, it's the last thing I want to do is go do a
yeah,
5 or 6 hour ride right now.
yeah. So I had kind of a down year in 22, coming off of kind of a 21 injury plagued season. Um, did a couple races, but wasn't really into it. And then last year, did something just about, you know, taking care of myself a little better, building some strength, getting stronger. Built that into a good short course season. I spent a lot of time on the
Hmm.
podium, which, by the way, I've yet to see anything from USAT about qualifying for nationals, and
I
I had yeah, there a lot of people
I
haven't.
don't think I've seen
Um,
anything either.
yeah,
So
four podiums, one of them a Grandmaster champion, nothing. So, hey, USAT, get on it.
yeah,
Not that I'm going to go to
well,
Atlantic City anyway, but
no, yeah, I remember I wrote that down on my little schedule, and I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think the wife's
but
done with mostly travel racing anyway, so yeah, I keep it local. But hey, it's just one of those things. It's also just part of me to say, look, we know these race directors, and I really promote and say, hey, get out there and race these local races. There's more to the sport than just Ironman, and of course, Ironman is a big part of it. But we gotta get. I'll tell you, if these small races die, the sport dies, pretty much. So,
yeah, and that's one thing I think we're lucky to have here in the Houston area is there's a lot of local races that it's not like you're planning your schedule around, oh, I gotta go if I want to do triathlon, I gotta travel
right.
to
Yep.
this Ironman race or that half Ironman race. It's, I got these local options in this area, like all the races that Ron Stint does with, Bayou City
Yep.
triathlons and all that.
Yep.
So
For sure. I
it's
mean, yeah, you can race every month, multiple times a month, pretty much from May until September in this town without
yeah,
driving probably more than 60, 70 miles. So, we're real fortunate in that. Yep.
yeah,
So get
especially
out and
when you got an Ironman in
race
your
local.
backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Race
absolutely.
local. Yep.
Yeah, and that supports the continue, like you were saying, it continues these races in the area. It keeps getting, fresh blood into the sport too. And people are going
Yep.
out and they're watching their brother-in-law or someone go out and do these races and they say, I think I could do that too. And
And there's nothing wrong with drinking a beer at 8:30 in the morning after a race. There's
no,
nothing wrong with that
no,
at all.
that's half of the fun of it is you get to have a few beers afterwards, especially with
Yeah.
our team in the tent, get a little rowdy.
Yeah, yeah, and I will say probably one of the biggest things we offer as a team is that post-race experience. And when it's a short race, it's really accentuated. It's harder to do at an Ironman and a half Ironman because of the disparity in finish times. But I mean,
Hmm.
between the fastest and the slowest, uh, people in a sprint, it's an hour, right? So I mean, you get that good post-race experience, which is what we're very well known for. So yeah.
Yeah.
Race local.
Yeah, and I can honestly say that a lot of my friends that I've made in this community across Houston is from doing triathlon. I look, who are the people that are top list on my text messages right now, and it's all through this team and through
Yeah.
triathlon. So
Yep.
that's, I've built the structure on this. So when you're racing local, you get to meet all these local people and make good friends. Like right now, I'm talking with Mr. Steve Hardy, who I met, at what was that Clothier's office? However, what was that,
Yeah.
8 years ago now?
9 years
So
ago.
yeah,
9 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. So, all right, let's move on to the next segment. Let's talk about team news. And I have the perfect person on the podcast to talk about team news because we got the guy that's in control of everything that's going to happen with Valhalla and Valkyrie Racing here now in the near future. So
Yeah.
let's, yeah. So I guess one thing to kind of talk about in the team news is we've had a lot of these member spotlights, and a lot of this chat's going to be kind of Steve Hardy's member highlight as we get into the questions later. But what do you kind of think of some of those? I found them interesting to kind of look at. Like, what was it? Jeff's comment was going, "Oh, my smoking hot wife." Like, kind of saw that comment coming when
Oh
he
yeah.
his member
Yeah.
highlight showed up. So,
Yes. Yes.
Fred Love and Cinnabon. What else do we see? Iron Man is a client of Gloria's. That one surprised me a little bit.
Yeah. That was definitely a surprise. Oh,
And
And
then
Jeff crying when Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl. And I've yet to figure out if those were tears of joy or sorrow. I don't know what his leanings are when it comes to football. So I've that one's still up in the air on what those tears were for.
yeah.
And then recently, it wasn't a member highlight, but the whole Clay Condon, Clark Griswold
Oh
post
yeah.
where he's out there, just rocking that Christmas theme at the house. Um,
The
if you,
video he posted, that was nuts.
yeah, that
Like,
was
okay, now I
that.
really see why you won that award.
But it's interesting because I posted on our page about, hey, here's a challenge for you out of Viking theme, and if you guys haven't been back out there, one of his video comments was the result of me sending him a couple images and integrating the Viking theme with
That's
some
crazy.
great Viking music also to go with it. So it actually turned out really cool. So I very much recommend you get out to that post and take a look at that video he posted. It's really cool.
I didn't see that one actually, so I'm gonna have to write that down and
Yeah,
go
you
check
have to
it
get
out
back
now.
out there and take a look at it. Yes, very well
Clay
done.
Condon, writing it down now. Go check out
Yeah.
his Viking lights.
Yes, that's the one. It's a comment on the post I made on the team page. Yep.
Awesome. All right. So, team news. Let's jump into it. So, what's going on with Valhalla and Valkyrie Racing here in the near future? So, I'll let you just take this over because you're the guy. So, member registration, anything you want to talk about
Yep.
here? What
Yep.
do you
So
want to talk about with the team?
we I'm gonna put in air quotes closed out member registration. I still have some messages of, oh crap,
Yeah,
how can I
yeah, I've seen a few of
renew?
those.
Or, yep, yep. I even had yesterday oh crap, I forgot to register my husband as a new member. So we actually have a new member here and there trickling in. So for the most part, it's closed. There's no link off our website. The any registration and renewals that happen have to come through me. I'll send a direct link out to it, so at least I will know what's coming and know what to expect from
Yeah,
folks. So, especially renewals. We know how people are around the holidays, and I've had people even like last year when I wasn't managing that aspect of it. I was getting people in February going, oh crap, dude, I didn't renew. How do I renew? And I'd have to reach out to Aaron. He'd have to re-enable the page, and I was like, this is good having that level of control to be able to
yeah.
be like, yep, no problem. Here you go. Here's a link. Go register and get your renewal done.
You pretty
Yep,
much
that's
went
closed
from
out.
middleman to the man now.
Yeah, I found it really, really advantageous during this period to actually have insight as people were, especially new registrations, because I could get a notice out to them and tell them, especially with the team store being open for kits, being immediate, like, hey, here's a link, get out there. This
Yeah,
closes on this and this date. Order your stuff. And then that's a good segue in the next section. Talk about team kits. I mean, we went with a new vendor. Um,
hmm
that was going with Cupcake Apparel. They do run a team called Cupcake Cartel. They have several hundred members. They've been providing kit for. So that was driven by Gemma. She's involved with them at a certain level. We were able to be one of the first non-Cupcake Cartel teams to actually take advantage of their kit. Their kit quality seems to be really, really good. The fit was nice, chamois and all that. Obviously, we haven't trained in any of it yet, but yeah, looking forward
Yeah,
to it.
even
And
the
yeah,
test kits felt great, to be honest with
yeah,
you. I mean, it was
yeah.
kind of like taking the good of Wynn and kind of mixing the good of Castelli together, I felt, and making a kid out of that. And I honestly loved it as soon as I put it on.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be good. So yeah, those will be coming to your you'll be getting an update pretty soon on where we are with delivery and availability of those. I think a lot of us chose local pickup, which hey Clayton, you don't know it yet, but you're the local pickup location
I'll let him
for
know
the
when he's
kids.
adjusting my back here in a
Okay, yeah,
couple
yeah.
weeks.
Let him
Hey, if you weren't
know
listening
that
to the
sometime
podcast,
in yeah. In March timeframe, he's going to get a big box of crap dropped off at his office again, just like the Fit Kit. So yeah, no, so that was advantageous also because I know part of the I don't want to say complaints, but some of the stuff I heard about the Castelli was that $15 shipping, was a
yeah,
little much. So we were able to avoid that and go with those that wanted local pickup could do local pickup. So we went there.
I would think that'd be
Some of the other,
advantageous for Cupcake too, but
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, and they're out of Australia, just like Win was, just for anyone that was wondering. So they will get shipped from Australia to the U.S. and then distributed directly to us. Some of the other stuff. So yeah, working hard on our swag list. I've got a few things finalized. Actually, have a few things here already that as soon as the new year is over and we get people back in offices and looking at you, Cheryl, because we'll need help setting up the team store to get things done. But
Yeah.
our water bottles.
Ooh,
Um, yeah, so taking
nice,
the
nice live
blue.
view of the bottles now.
Yeah, live. I'm the only one with one of these live and in action, and they work. So very good. So
Perfect.
yeah, so and I'll touch on it here a little bit. Is we've got Race Like a Viking on one side, and then the logos on the other, and a lot of what we'll be doing with merchandise moving forward is anything unisex will highlight Race Like a Viking with our shared logos, kind of like the hat you have on, minus two of those logos. Um,
Yeah,
so,
a little bit old
yeah,
hat maybe.
yeah, yeah. So that's where you'll see Race Like a Viking come into play. Is anything that's going to be unisex will also share the logos, but it will be kind of our tagline for that type of stuff. I've done some vinyl stickers that we've got coming out. Something new we haven't done before on vinyl stickers is Um, did some Race Like a Viking ones.
Ooh,
Um,
yeah. I just got a
so
new truck, so I need to go tag my truck with some of those
yeah,
stickers.
I've got a long version and a short version or a square version in both black and white on those. So we'll have those out on the team store as well. Let's see, I can do a share real quick on some of the other stuff that we have got
Yeah,
coming.
let's see it
So
all.
yeah, so I will screen share. Okay. So I've already posted this out to the site. Our ice kits our swimsuits are out available in the store. They're off the webpage in the member area. So these are redesigned. There were some ice kits that were initially put out last year. They were a little greener when we went in and redesigned the ice kit. This is what we came back with. So the a little bit bluer and with the white logo. So those are currently out in the kit store. So get out there and
They're
get your swimsuit on.
they're
Next,
getting pretty close to that Tiffany blue color, so I think a lot of the
yeah,
Valkyries may like that.
of course. Something we haven't done before. I'm doing a race belt. So again, race like a Viking. This is unisex. So we'll have the Valhalla logo on one side, Valkyrie logo on the other. These are not in my hands yet, but as soon as these get shipped, these are also from Boca, obviously, with the logo there.
Mm.
So we
Hmm.
have a race belt this year. So everyone make sure you buy it. While we're on the topic of Boca, we will go talk about the truckers. So once again, shared logo, Race Like a Viking on the back. We've integrated our current kit color scheme through here on the trucker. And so this is what the caps will look like. And visor in a
Looking
similar
good.
fashion. Shared logo on the visor and Race Like a Viking on the back. So that'll be, those are ordered on the way. And then the final thing, everyone needs a swim cap, of course. So again, taking some of the blue from our kit, closest match I could get anyway, and putting that on a cap for us. So we've got Race Like a Viking on one
Close
side
enough.
and the logos on the other. So that is our items for what we'll see in the
So
store as soon as
I was gonna
I get
say
all
those are
that
gonna be
set
in the
up.
store probably what, their start of the new year or a little after.
Yeah, as soon as I get, well, I'll probably start adding stuff so I can do water bottles and stickers initially, get those added in when the caps drop, get all that in. The other thing I'm working on is obviously t-shirts, just like the one you and I have on. We actually chose the same shirt
Yeah.
today. We did not talk
Match.
first, I promise. And
No.
I actually could get really weird and do this.
I say I can't do that with the other hat that you have because I'm pretty sure it saw its miles on all the run miles I did, and it's
Yeah.
in the trash now because it got smoked.
Yeah, so yeah, so we'll be adding things. I'll do some t-shirts. I think this year we're also going to do a light t-shirt material hoodie, so a long sleeve t-shirt with a
Oh,
hoodie on it.
nice.
I've got two of those that I wear year round. So first thing I thought of was like, I want one of these with our logo on it. So we'll be seeing some of that out there. So and always open to to listen to suggestions. Hold on, reasonable suggestions of getting stuff out on the team store for us. So nothing is nothing is off limits as long as it's legal, basically.
That's true. That's a good way to put it, as long as it's legal.
Yes, yes. All right.
All right.
Yeah. So just be looking out there. I think one of the things we maybe I'll quickly share real. Let me get the page up that I want. Yeah. Let's talk about the website now that we are. Let me get that back up to share. So one of the things we want to do um, this year and moving forward is, can you see the screen? There we go. All right. Our Race Like a Viking, you guys don't see this banner when you go in. And if you do, please let me know. But
Okay.
we're going to drive most of our activity into the website now. So we will be doing posts and sharing information out here. We do have a lot of people that aren't on Facebook. So just wanted to share kind of where to find certain things in here, right? So,
Yeah.
one of the first things you'll notice, something new this year, is a list of our sponsors. So while we're on this tab, we can talk about our sponsors and our sponsor levels. Now, I'm
Yeah.
missing
We
one
should
from
point
here.
out who. We
Yeah,
should point out why we have this awesome new website was because of one of these level one sponsors.
that's right. That's right. So, combination of Cheryl and her Bow Creative and Crochet Digital was rebuilt this website for us, and they are one of our level one sponsors, which means they're on the kit. I've got one on here that is not there yet. I got the logos late and have not had a chance to update it. But we've got our BMW of the Woodlands, Wayne Phillips sponsoring the team with his WP Real Estate, Sterling Ridge Orthopedics, great place. Hope you never need them. again, Bo Creative, Chris Shera, and another team member, Michelle Howard, and her husband have a company called True Rife. And they'll be out here on this, and they're on the kit already as well. Level 2 sponsors, I still have more to add here, finalizing some stuff. Free Speed Lab, our new relationship with Cantu Wheels, Mobility Cairo, Scott Flathouse Photography. I'll talk a little bit more about that in coming weeks on what that relationship is going to look like. Everyone knows who Push Glide Kick is with Diego, and again, I've got a couple others that will be brought out here. We are getting into a kind of build a relationship with Catapult, and they'll be out on the t-shirts as well, and that will involve us doing events with them, sharing, kind of sharing some sponsorship opportunity across both companies there. And so there's a couple more that I'm working on. And then level 3 sponsors, these are companies that provide us with discounted gear. Now, this isn't just your, hey, take 10% off type thing. This is a company that we've got a partnership with and that has some pretty significant discounts. The 361 running may be coming off. I noticed recently our code didn't work. I don't know if that's an annual thing, so yeah, I got to double check on that one. Trying to get that one renewed. They're also becoming a lot more mainstream, so they may have been rethinking their business model a little bit. They've actually had Tokyo Marathon winners wearing their shoes, are actually getting basketball sponsored or professional basketball players wearing their shoes. So they're becoming a little bit bigger, and they may be rethinking their business model a little bit. And so to be decided yet on those. I run in them. Love the shoes actually, and at that price point, you can't beat it. So yeah, Nox Gear, the lighted vests. I made a post on the feed. So those are all
I've
our
already made my feed purchase already,
yeah,
so using
yeah.
it.
So one of the other things you'll find on the website is under this membership area where you go to members only, and this is after you've logged in and you all created an account when you're registered. Look at that group, good looking group. We've got our team store, so anytime, like I think Right Sports out there now, and when I get the team store for the swag built, this will be out there as well. And then anytime the kit store is open, we'll have a link to it. There's a team directory out here if you ever wanted to have to reach out and email a member, message a team member. This is out here. So with your registration information, we've got that available.
This is a benefit to me, I think, because a lot of times I had no idea who was on the team, and
Yeah.
it was kind of show up to a race, do those local races and kind of look around the tent and say, all right, who's on the team, or I'm looking at pictures online to figure out who may not have re-registered or registered on the team. So I think that's a good add to our team at the moment.
That, and then so we have discounts. We're obviously pushing these behind the membership area for obvious reasons, right? We don't want them shared. This is I've sent the initial list out, has not been posted yet, but this is how to get discounts. So when we're talking about the Cantu relationship, how do you get that 30% discount on wheels? Yes, I said 30%. Some of the other codes that we have are our race directory. We'll have our events, but since it's public, our team discounts will be listed on this page in here. So most of our race directors have set up codes for us to get discounts on races. So highly recommend you guys really start using the Facebook page. Some of the information that we're going to be working on is opting into some messaging, whether it be email or text on certain things, the store opening, registrations open, that type of stuff. So we'll have different levels of messaging options
also
available
listen to the podcast.
And listen to the podcast. We'll get that link out here to the YouTube channel so that people can find conversations like this one that's going on. And that's it. Yeah. So again, just one of the things we definitely wanted to focus on this year was higher level of engagement on the team. By doing so, we probably needed to focus getting a little bit, maybe not away from Facebook, but offering an alternative method of getting this type of
Yeah,
information than
because
just using Facebook.
there's
Yep.
yeah, there's always seems to be a few people every year on this team that I've noticed that are not on Facebook, and there's the,
Yeah.
hey, does so and so know because they don't have a profile
Yeah.
or something, and as time goes on, it's our millennial and up older folks that
Yeah.
are on Facebook, and everyone that's younger than me aren't necessarily on that anymore. So
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
a website where you have all that information now maybe to our benefit.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I used to have to keep a separate list of notifications for email only members. So when team renewals, registration, team store, all that kind of stuff, I used to have to remind myself, oh yeah, these 12 people need an email or whatever. So
Hmm.
yeah. So that's where we are with that. So a lot of good changes from that aspect. A lot more activity on the Instagram side of the house, trying to engage more uh, publicly to our followers and to the team members using social media channels and obviously the website.
Yeah,
Stay
and I
tuned,
think
more to
that's going to
come.
be, yeah, it's not just website and a podcast nowadays. There's a lot more that the leadership team is planning to make sure everyone's engaged outside of just social media and what's going on at the team tent afterward at these races. So
Yeah, and that's actually, speaking of that, was a good segue. I think one of the things we'll need to do, I got to work with Cheryl on this, is in the events calendar is somehow flag or put a field that says, the team tent will be there. Obviously, all the local races, Ironman Texas, Galveston, team tent will be there.
hmm
But there may be some that people want to know, hey, will the tent be there? And public service message. If I'm not going to a race, if you guys are going to a race and you want the team tent there, reach out to me. I'll give you the team tent.
yeah,
Set it up, have a place to hang out. It is not just
yeah,
me to have to set this up. So, yep, available.
yeah. So if some people are going to Kerrville, that nice little picture that got posted to you and Chris here
Yeah.
recently. Yeah, if you're not going to that one, I guess this year, they just give you a call
Actually,
and
okay, that's a caveat. That one, after seeing that setup, that'd be a nightmare to set the tent up in.
oh really?
It's a split transition. It's access to that area. Yeah, that may be one that just we're better off. Hey, let's get a good contingent. It's a great race. It's a weekend of racing, but may not be the best or the easiest site to set up a team tent for.
Mm, understood.
Just putting it out there.
So I may need to have someone else if I go to do that one, take care of my crap and
Yeah, great race though. Fun race. Good weekend. All right, so I think that's all the real news I'm going to talk about. I think you had a couple questions that you wanted to ask me.
yeah. So let's get into the interview segment of
All
this
right.
podcast, and that's Ask a Viking anything. So we're gonna ask Steve Hardy anything that there is out there, and we have some member questions. And before we get into that, we'll do the first, which is going to be like Cheryl's member highlight on Steve Hardy, and then we'll get into some of our member questions that folks submitted. And before I get into that, we'll give away our little prize to the individual that Steve and I picked out before we started this chat, and we'll let you know when we get to that segment. But I guess the first thing we'll do is we'll jump right into these membership highlight questions for you, Steve. And I think we already kind of talked about it, but when did you join Valhalla?
Yeah, well, before I answer, so this is basically the video member highlight that we're doing. This is a one-off. So don't, if you get that request to be a member highlight, chances are it's just going to be on paper for the
Yeah.
future, unless Joe wants to do a podcast on you. So when did I join Valhalla? Yeah, we discussed it. So Late December 15 was the sign up period, and 2016 was our first year. So
Hmm.
that was I was an OG. Been here since the beginning.
Yeah, I remember watching Lars race. I think I was doing that same oil man race with him, and it wasn't. I think it was in the packet for oil man. It said join Valhalla, and I was like, okay, Lars seems like a cool dude. And put my name in the hat. So yeah,
So
20
the
was that
funny thing is
2016?
that was well that was a 2015 Oil Man for the
Wow,
2016
man.
season. So yeah, and I knew Kirk personally. I knew who Lars was, but I had never met Lars at that point. So when I'd heard about the team through third person, I actually messaged Kirk and said, "Hey, I hear you've got a social team being built. I'd love to, love to be part of this. What do I need to do?" And here we are today.
Wow. Kind of, yeah, you got it through Kirk, and I was like, oh, Lars seems like a cool guy. Let's just throw my name in the hat and see what happens. And what is it,
Yeah.
8, 9 years later, we're still doing it. So,
Yes. Yep.
all right, next question, triathlon background. So let's get a little bit of the history of Steve Hardy in the sport of triathlon. So when did you get started in the sport?
So I had to look it up. And in case you guys have never been out
Been doing
in
it that
this,
long,
yeah,
you gotta
yeah,
figure it out.
no, no, I'm that old. It has nothing to do with how long I've been doing it. But there's actually a site out there called Athlinks, and I think you use it for many things. But it
Yep.
also has a history of every freaking result of every race. And once you create a profile with your birth date and certain things, it'll actually pull up all these results and you can claim them. I mean, we were talking going
Yeah.
back to, you know, early 2000s. So I had to go out there and be like, when was my first race? So it was 2008. I did my first race. I did two races that year, I think. I just remember, and so background is I have absolutely zero background in swimming, biking, and running. As a matter of fact, I had never even done a 5K before I did my first sprint triathlon.
Oh,
So, I
really?
mean,
So
yeah, never.
you didn't even kind of go from running to triathlon. It was
Yeah,
just straight.
no, no.
Wow.
Yeah, I was one of those guys who worked out in the gym and would run for fitness, and then I got this crazy idea. I was like, all right, you know what? I can only run for, hey, at the time maybe 30, 45 minutes, but I was like, I could bike for 2 hours, I bet. So I got a bike just to get longer cardio sessions
Hmm.
in, and then had a friend did the MS 150, all that kind of, biking, touring stuff, but nothing competitive. And then somebody one day says, well, you're biking and running. Why don't you do a triathlon? And I was like, sure, why not? And I got in the pool. It was a ugly mess. I literally, seriously, I don't think I could swim 50 yards. I was just like gassed. I was like, what the hell am I doing? Funny story. Funny story on this was back in that time. So that was probably 2007, maybe early 2008. We didn't have all these master swim programs and stuff like this, or none that I knew of anyway. So my kids were in lessons at like Finn's, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I talked to the coach afterwards, and he was like, "Yeah, I can give you some pointers, private lessons and stuff." So I signed up for I did about 6 weeks of those, once a week, and worked on certain things, at least for
Hmm.
body position and all that. But I just remember to this day, I'm sitting on deck at at their little Finn's pool, and this lady sitting next to me, and everyone's kids are in the pool learning. She leans over, she's like, "Which one's yours?" I said, "No, I'm next. No, I'm I'm the next one in." I says, I'll be in the pool next." And then it was kind of that look of, "Oh, okay, whatever." So yeah, that's where I was. But it was helpful. It was enough to get me started. But I do remember that first year, the two or three races during the swim, every time I swore, I'm not doing another one of these. I'm not gonna do another
Wow.
one of these. Yeah, I was literally I quit triathlon at least three times in 2008, and it was during the swim every time. I was like, why am I out here? I'm terrible at this. So yeah, that was the beginning. There's hope.
That's not
There's hope for everyone.
well, hey, when my first open water swim, I almost freaking drowned. And the lifeguards had to pull me out. It was at the pre what it was now is CBNI. It was at,
Oh,
open water swim practice they have the week before the race. I went and did that.
yeah.
And some person stopped in front of me and I swam right in them. And this is like, I have like a month of swim experience and I swam into the person and I looked at him and like a little wave hit me in the face and I inhaled all the water. And I'm sitting there going, I can't breathe because my lungs just got filled with water. And the lifeguard's like, fire department. So they
Nice.
hauled me out. I finally caught my breath and I was all fine and everything afterwards. And I went home and to my wife and I was like, I can't do this. I can't swim in open water. Like it's completely different than the pool.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, suck it up, Buttercup, and get out there and do it. So now when
Yeah.
she's like, why do you have to spend so much time training? I'm like, hey, you're the one who told me to get back
Yeah.
out there. So it's
You
your
should just
fault.
tell her you're still sucking it up to tell her. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's, yeah, it's
So
part of the
it's funny
process.
to hear your story and just the similarities that I have too. It's just like in the
Yeah.
swim, like holy crap. Yeah, there is hope. Yeah, you can get
Yeah,
better at it.
and so the swimming to me has gone from survive it, get comfortable with it,
Hmm.
and then compete in the swim. And I can honestly say I never got on the podium until I started competing in the swim. I finally went to a sprint one morning and said, you know what? I'm gonna go race this swim and see what happens. And I was like second in my wave or age group out of the water, built up a decent lead on the bike. So yeah, I mean it's just those three phases that I went through. Now I race the swim, and where everything falls after that. But yeah, I went from quitting in the swim for a year to now claiming it to be my strength. So like if the swim is
Yeah.
canceled, I'm screwed. Or if it's shortened, I'm dead. I'm like, oh, here we go. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm the same way when they're like, "Oh, we're announcing it's wetsuit legal," and everyone starts
yeah.
cheering, and I'm the one guy that's like, "Oh man."
Oh man, I need the advantage. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
probably one of those. You and I and Gemma and everyone else, probably those weird people that actually want the swim to be difficult. But
Oh yeah. Give me waves, give me non-wetsuit, rocking waves. I'll take it all day long. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, absolutely. All right. So what has that journey been like? I guess from the day you started, would you say 2008 to
yeah.
to
2008.
now? Has it been obviously we've been kind of reminiscing about it, but it's been an enjoyable experience, right?
Yeah,
Especially
I
with
would say so.
throwing in Valhalla there halfway through.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking of that, so I mean, I was probably losing a little bit of interest in that probably 2013, 2014 time frame. Um, there was no, it just seemed the social aspects of it seemed to be drying up a little bit.
Hmm.
All the teams that were out there were coaching related. I wasn't coached. I didn't have a tent to go to. I'd show up to a race, finish a race, walk around a little bit, and be like, okay, going home.
Yeah.
And so it really changed my attitude towards the event in general. Was like, yeah, can't wait to get through this race. Go hang out in the tent, go, talk to some folks and whatever. So it's made a big difference. And for those that haven't experienced it yet, to our new members, assuming we've got new members watching this, just wait for race day. It'll click. You'll be like, ah, this is why I joined the team. Very welcoming atmosphere. Family and kids are always welcome in the tent. We have adult and non-adult beverages available. There's music in the tents. It's a good atmosphere. We host a lot more than just Valhalla in the team tent. So I'm talking to you, Kate. We've been
Yeah.
providing yeah, Kate Looney beer now for how many seasons? Yeah, yeah. So she finally joined.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a few years. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, and I can even attest to that. I remember when I joined a team, coming from other coach teams or where I was kind of off and on with coaching, and next thing you know, it's like you go from, well, why are you hanging out here if you're not being coached, to it's like suddenly it's like everyone's welcoming you in, and my family's allowed to come in and
yeah,
hang out the tent, throw all our stuff in there, and next thing you know, all the kids are playing together, and you're hanging out, kind of having a nice little party afterwards. It's like this is
yeah.
a good time.
Yeah, it's part of our identity. We're welcoming family, kids. It's what we do. Our socials as well. We had the one social, the one time at Kirby Ice House, which was adults only. Won't happen again. It's a fine venue, but truly it was kind of went against what we stood for. And so everything we do now is definitely family and kid friendly and pet
Yeah.
friendly
I,
and pet friendly
yeah.
most of the time.
Well, I mean, the last podcast was about puppies, so we got to
Yeah,
have
that's true.
pets.
Yeah.
Everyone loves their pets, yeah. So we got to have let that aspect in there too. I think we've had a few dogs on our tents over the
Oh
years.
yeah. Oh yeah. Not including me.
You, Gemma, the Alvaricos, who else? Ron with his two massive
Oh
Great
God.
Danes.
Those are dogs or horses?
It's a mix, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
All right, so next question. What has been your biggest accomplishment in triathlon so far?
I would think if you asked me this in 2010 and 11, I would say, competing and completing an Ironman. I actually get more joy now out of competing or being competitive in short course, whether I'm standing just outside the podium, whether I'm standing on the podium, maybe on the shorter step or on the top step, right? Those are the things that drive me now. Looking at a race, and not being mad by any means, but looking at it going, okay, where can I find that extra minute? Where, what did I do? I knew my
Yeah,
transition was crap or, whatever, right? So, to me, my biggest accomplishment is, for me, is being competitive and staying competitive as I age. Obviously, it's a challenge.
as you transition to Team Granddad, as you were saying.
Yes, 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 definitely. So that,
All right, what is,
yep. Go ahead.
I guess, they kind of build off that. What's the biggest challenge? Not just accomplishment now, but what has been the biggest challenge?
Uh, so I mentioned earlier, kids are out of the house and stuff. I've got a lot of so I've got a lot going for me in being able to train and kind of do it on my schedule. I have actually a really flexible work schedule. I work from home. I train in the morning. So my biggest challenge sometimes is me.
Yourself.
And it's
Getting
like,
over
okay, so
yourself.
yeah, sometimes, yeah. And so like this week and all of next week, I'm not working. And so I have no structure in the day. So I get up and I screw around and I get to a point I'm like, I don't feel like going to the gym or I don't feel like doing this. Whereas,
Yeah,
when I have the structure, I'm like, well, I got to be on the bike at 6. I got to be home. I got a meeting. I do whatever. So,
yeah.
um, no structure kind of challenges me to build structure. So that's a challenge. And then also, I try to get all my training done with as little impact into the family component of life as possible. It's early mornings. During the week, I'll, run out during lunch or do something as well. But you will, you go back through my Strava and go find a workout after 3 p.m. They're not out
Not gonna
there,
find
right?
it.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Yeah,
not out there. So.
that'd be the
You're
same with
just
me.
trying, yeah,
You ain't gonna find it.
yeah. So, I mean, the challenge is just trying to keep myself driven, keep myself structured, but also maintain, the family component. And when I say family component, a lot of that now is just obviously Anna and myself and the dogs
Yeah,
and the dogs.
and the dogs. Yeah, got to make sure
Yep,
they're fed and walked and all that stuff.
yep.
All right. So, what is Steve Hardy outside of triathlon? So, I think you kind of hinted at this earlier with your kids. So, what's family, career, what other things you got going on, life, hobbies, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so like I said, the two kids are out of the house. One's in college, one's out of school. So, well, the one in college, when he's in school in San Marcos, he doesn't come home. I can't blame him if you've never been to that campus. Um, yeah, nice campus. But yeah, so he's there. The daughter lives locally. She comes over for dinner, hangs out. So we do some stuff together. She is a musical theater major. She's trying to make her way into that very, very tough world. She's new in that venture, but we will do our theater dates on a regular basis. Beyond that, it's Anna and I, the dogs. Believe it or not, we prefer to be home on the couch, relaxing. We'll travel here and there, but we're homebodies to be honest. So we enjoy spending time at the house. We don't go out to dinner a lot, so I do a lot of cooking here. So been experimenting with some cooking processes and utensils recently with a pizza oven, which highly recommend. Yeah, yeah, nice.
Pizza at the Hardy House.
Pizza party at the Hardy House, and then I just started playing with a sous vide cooker. The water bath cooking with the sealed
Yeah,
bags of
yeah.
food. You can't screw up. Big key there. Um, yeah, so just playing with that. Like I said, we go out maybe once every couple weeks, but and we were ordering pizza more often, but now we make it because it's far superior and it's really, really
Oh,
good
I bet
pizza.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And you can tweak it to your own liking
yeah,
too. So that's a benefit there.
yeah. Yeah, so hobby wise, that and just whatever I'm doing around the house. I can always find something to break and fix.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
did that for Christmas Eve. Our half bath sink busted, and next thing you know, on Christmas Eve, I'm underneath the bathroom sink for probably a couple hours of that day, trying to fix it and making runs to Home Depot. My wife's like, "Really?
Okay.
On all days?"
Yes. Well, yeah, that's home ownership at its finest.
Oh yeah, it is. Yep, absolutely. And all she did was like, "Hey, can you go wash the bathroom? We're gonna have guests tomorrow." Next thing you know, turns into a
Breaking it.
project.
Well,
Yep.
hey, guess what? She's not going to ask you to clean the bathroom again. Genius. Genius.
See, the problem is she knows that like I'm a little bit handier. I'm not just like
Uh,
this triathlete that doesn't know what he's doing. She's like,
right.
"Hey, I need you to go do this project. You go do it."
Yep.
So, all right, what is your biggest inspiration so far in the sport of triathlon, or who is
Ooh.
it?
In the sport, it's probably you guys. I mean, just watching and hearing and seeing the
Yeah.
stories of, oh man, I'm struggling with this and I'm getting past this and I've got the kids and all this and just seeing it and then seeing that person out on race day going out and crushing it. So that's inspiring within the sport for sure, is just people dealing with their challenges and getting through with it and at whatever level of training they're doing. We're not pros,
Mhm.
none of us are. And so, just getting to that point, we got people in all different types of careers. And so, you know, we don't know specifically the challenges folks have on a day-to-day basis on how to get their workouts in, but they're obviously getting it in. So I think that's pretty inspiring. And being part of this team and either being a cheerleader or a source of inspiration for others has been really rewarding.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that's a good one. Um, so what are some other interesting facts about Steve Hardy that no one would know? So, like Jeff was saying, he cried when Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl. So
Um,
what's something about Steve?
Man, that's a tough one. I don't know that I've ever had a sports event that made me cry. I enjoy probably of all the sports to go to live. I think there'd be people that would jump to guess to say it'd be one thing, but it's actually baseball. I grew up a baseball
Mm,
fan. I can watch baseball on TV. I can enjoy going to the games. To me, it's just like the classic sport for me. So, big baseball fan. So obviously the last few years being an Astros fan has been pretty rewarding. On the flip side of that, for 17 years, I was a Texans season ticket holder. That got a little tough to do, and the COVID year the COVID year gave me an out. Where it was an optional, hey, all right, you don't have to do your tickets this year because you're not allowed in the stadium anyway. So sitting that season out and realizing, man, Sundays are pretty decent because we would tailgate. We'd get out there at 8:30 in the morning, get home at 4:30. Right. So it was
Yeah,
it was a it
that's an
was a full
all
day.
day event.
Yeah, it was. So um, so now I don't even watch a whole lot of NFL. I'm aware of it. I'll check stuff and I know what's going on, but I don't make a day out of scheduling time to sit in front of the TV. So those are a couple things. You hit on a few other things. I guess a surprise thing is I'm actually pretty handy around the house. I can build stuff
Hmm.
and fix stuff and decent with wood and making drawers and cabinets and and doing stuff here that might surprise some folks. But yeah, I'm actually pretty handy at that.
Yeah, some of those old woodshop classes that come in handy.
Yeah, I never did any. My dad was a home builder and remodeler.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's so you picked it up there.
yeah, being forced to go work with him at 13, 14 years old, and then all of a sudden, 15 years later, you're doing stuff going, I remember Dad showing me how to do this,
Yeah,
plumbing and electrical and woodwork and all this. So even just being around it, you pick up on it. So yeah,
yeah, it
so
was the same. My dad and my grandfather were the handyman, and it was like I never actually did it. I just remember standing there watching.
yeah,
And then, yeah, you get older and you're like, I know how to do this.
yeah. It's like
Holy crap.
why do I know how to replace this? Yeah.
YouTube also helps. YouTube is,
It
yeah, a major
does, it does.
help.
But Anna gets surprised sometimes too. I'll take on a project and she's kind of like, okay, and then I'll be done with it. She was like, damn, where'd you learn to do that? I go, you know, I gotta keep a couple surprises. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. What are the races you have planned for this year, for this upcoming year, 2024? What are you looking to do? If you're like me, you're like, I don't know, I'll just sign up
Yeah,
at
I'm
some
not
point.
registered
But
for anything yet, but you'll find me out at, what the Woodlands try now. We've lost Wood Forest as a sponsor.
yeah, yeah, I will
Sylvan
say that's the
Beach.
only one on my plan. So,
Yeah. Sylvan Beach, Cypress. So a lot of what's local, I have not figured out yet. Anything that might be a day trip away, but there'll probably be 6 or 7 races on the calendar this year.
oof, you got a good chunk. I
Yeah.
think I did one last year. So
Oh, I
you're
did. I did 6 or 7 last year too. Yeah.
good. Wow. Okay, and they're all, you're doing all local. So, yeah, if they're a local race, expect to
Local
see
or short
Steve
course.
sitting in
Yep.
it. Yes, expect to see Steve sitting in the tent
Yes.
with a beer
Or 2.
or two or three.
Might have some
Um,
news. Might have some news on the beer front soon too. So, but we'll
ooh,
keep
yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
I know about that, but I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll let you
Yeah.
talk about that in the future. All right, let's go into the next segment, which is going to be our member submitted questions. But before we get into that, let's hand out the winner. So in order to win this, you had to submit a question on either message me or submit it on our Facebook page or however you want to do it. So we got a handful of people to do it, and I'll announce the name and I'll let Steve say what they're going to get. And the winner of this is going to be Ewan Evans, our teammate that has moved back to Texas and is now going to be at some of the races now. You have won the bottle, so you better be listening so that you can go reach out to Steve. There you go. Nice, pretty
You
blue bottle in
you will
order
get one of
to.
these before they're generally available to the public. So exclusive
Nice.
stuff.
It'll be. I
Yeah,
don't even have one, so
yeah.
Ewan, you're already at an advantage over everyone on the team,
And I
and I'm
better
on
not
the
see
board
it.
of
Yeah,
directors.
and I better not see it on eBay selling for $500 as an exclusive one-off. So I'll flood the market if I see it.
There you go.
Congratulations, Ewan. All right, all right. Hit me with
All
the
right,
questions.
so
I'm looking forward to these.
Yeah, so this is question number one, and we got this from none other than Yana and Gemma. So they both asked me this question. So, how many Speedos do you own?
Whew, man, how many Speedos do I own? If I had to guess, I would say exactly 16.
Crap. I was thinking like, a handful, like
No,
16.
there's there,
Wow.
there's 16. There's 16 Speedos. Yeah.
Whew.
And
Yeah,
lately, if
it's,
I wore one for every swim at the rate I'm swimming right now, it would get me to next year. So I've got to pick up the swimming a little bit. So yeah,
yeah, you might want to,
yeah,
yeah, actually
yeah,
put them to use.
yes.
Is one of those that gold one that we won from Sylvan that one year?
No, that one is still that one's still mounted. That one was glued. Where is that one?
Somewhere in that office of yours?
Yeah, somewhere over here. But yes, our Speedo Challenge one, that one was glued to the frame. Yeah.
Yeah, I know I contributed to that one, the one and only time I've done that.
Yeah, so
I
16 is our
gotta
answer.
I gotta get on the Steve Hardy workout plan to try that again. All right, what came first, triathlon or the physique competitions? Now that I kind of mentioned the
Well,
workout
all right.
plans.
So let me clarify. That wasn't a competition. That was a challenge. I used a fitness coach and a nutrition coach last year to kind of drive me back into shape to um, compete better.
Yeah,
Basically unhitch the wagon. So wasn't a competition, but it was fun nonetheless. It was challenging. I would say probably more challenging than anything I've done in triathlon, just the mental challenge of it. And,
yeah,
the nutrition side is just a whole new world. I mean, it's just, in this sport, we work out so we can eat. In that sport, you work out and you still can't eat. Okay. So, I mean, it is everything measured and everything matters and timing of stuff. Um, uh, so the answer to the question is I was a gym guy before I was a triathlon guy, but there's never been a fitness competition. I don't really think it's in my DNA to kind of get up there and learn to pose and do all that. Just not me. But uh, getting close and getting a look that I was, it was a vanity project, and I was pleased with the outcome.
now there was kind of a second part of that question, but I'm gonna assume that part of it was because of Anna and her history in the sport, but it was how did you get into it? And I'm gonna that's where I'm gonna lead into. Is that something that kind of with Anna's history of doing that in the past, is that kind of how you got into what you did last year as far as getting into that physique shape that you were in or
Um,
still in?
well, no, I'm not there. I'm not far off. I'm in a much better starting point than I was a year ago in this position, although
Yeah,
the holidays have been a little off the rails. Time to get back to it. Um, no, Anna, from a fitness perspective, did that before I did. Like I said, I've never really had that drive to get on the stage and do that. And the one thing, if you know Anna, and many of you do, but you may not know her this way, she's the type of person that is like, she'll come to me and be like, hey, you know what? I think I want to do a fitness competition. I'll be like, okay. And then like 4 hours later, she'll come to me. She goes, okay, I've hired a coach and I'm starting tomorrow. And I'm like, okay. So she is a very, very driven and I say impulsive, but she follows through with us. So when she wants to do something, she went out and did it. Now, through those contacts and some connections, I was able to find people to help me and do what I did.
yeah,
But yeah, she owns that end of it. I'll stick to triathlon. I will say the one thing that I was challenged with early in the year because of the kind of the living in a deficit. My performance, even though as light as I was, as lean as I was, my performance wasn't where I wanted it to be racing, just because the calorie deficit that I was on. So, and I never really
yeah,
got into maintenance mode there. I just took myself from one aspect of that fitness challenge and then put myself into triathlon. just took on the calories as needed there. So it was, but it was an education also. So I learned a lot about the nutrition part of it and, what my needs are, and everyone's different on how they react to calories and the timing of calories and the macros involved with it and all that. I won't go into detail, but I learned a lot. And it'll be a lot easier for me to flip the switch and say like, all right, I need 8 weeks of some strict going on before I get into season, and I'll be able to do that without any coaching.
So I will put a little note in here for anyone that's listening. I'm actually been reading a book and I have some plans to bring in some individuals to talk about sports nutrition. And this is actually a topic that another question submitter, Fred Pepper, had actually asked about. So that's going to be something we'll talk about in the future a little bit
Oh,
on
good.
nutrition. So we'll have a topic about that. So that'll
Yeah,
be a future podcast.
and
And
it's
it's
funny
it's
oh, it's
it can
deep.
get pretty detailed on what you need to do. Yeah.
But in our sport, there's two aspects to it. Everyone talks about the nutrition during the race, like what do I need to take during the race? What's my, calories, my carbs, and ever.
Yeah.
But no one ever
It's what
talks
your daily
about.
diet is. Yeah.
It's right. It's right. No one ever talks about the other 20 hours of your day on how you're supposed to eat to whether it be for wellness or for fitness. So yeah, get with me on what you have because I have somebody as well that Lars introduced me to that I've had a conversation with, and we'll get something together.
Awesome. Yeah. And that'll be something for our listeners and our team members to
Yep.
take advantage of that we can talk about. So yeah, definitely a future topic.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Next question. Will you ever do another Ironman?
No. Nope.
No? Just flat out no?
I mean, there's probably a 70.3 in me, but I'll never do another full.
Mm.
Nope.
I there's so many times I said, yeah, I'm done, but then there's still that little bug that's kind of back there like, are you sure? Are you sure?
I I have nothing.
So,
I go out and spectate, and there's not a molecule in my body that wishes I was out there. So I'm pretty
oh
much done.
God, yeah. It's to me, it's not even when you go out and you watch them do the Ironman. To me, that makes me want to do it. It's when I start seeing the weekend group ride messages and
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh,
definitely.
I got six
Yeah,
hours," and I'm like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
"Here's
yeah,
me sitting on the couch eating a
yeah,
donut," and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I ain't
yeah. No,
doing
that's it.
that."
To me, it is. It's about the training. I don't want to do the training. It's just not going to fit into the life I want to lead right
Yeah,
now. Is to do that amount of training. Yep.
yeah. Wake up early in the morning, go ride 6 hours, and then when you get back home, it's mid-afternoon. Yeah,
And you want a nap for 4 hours. Yeah. Yep.
yeah, exactly. And then your wife's like, "Hey, we need to go do X, Y, and Z." At least in my situation with my kids, they're like, "Hey, they got all these activities we got to get to, so get your ass up and move." All right. What went through your head when you fell off the lead kayak at Ironman, Texas?
Ooh, all right. For those of you that don't know, the background on that is over the last 5, maybe 6 years. I've lost count
Yeah.
now. I am.
And that
I
picture that
lead.
I posted asking for questions
Yeah.
was Steve at the end of
At the
leading
end
the
of that. So,
pros.
so at Ironman Texas over the last 5 or 6 years, I've led the male pros through the course on a paddle board, and it was the October race that one year after COVID. Um,
Hmm.
a later start. I was not in the greatest of shape either. That was leading into my off year. Um, and so there was just, I don't if you've swam in Lake Woodlands, which you don't get to do a whole lot, when you get to the channel, there's a natural current, as light as it may be, that actually goes down the channel. Um,
Yep.
the wind was coming up the channel. So right in that mouth of the channel, you had this cross current creating waves like this. And so I'm fine all along, swimmers behind me. I get into that little section and I'm like, I'm digging. I'm not moving. He's gaining on me and about to pass me, and I'm digging and my legs are shaking. And I was like, and the waves are hitting, and I was like, I'm about to go off. So instead of falling off, I jumped off, jumped back on, and then 50 yards later, it was gone. So it was kind of like, what was I feeling? It was like, well, crap, this is the first time this has happened. I hope nobody's watching. Yeah, no chance of that. It's immortalized. I think there's pictures out there. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm glad it's happened already because now I don't think about it when I'm out there doing it. So
Yeah,
yeah, and if it does happen, I know that trust I'm faster on the paddleboard than the swimmers are, even the pros. It may seem like you got to work hard, but it's not that hard. So I know I could get back up and overtake them and get back
kind of
into a position. Yep,
get back out in front. Yep.
yep.
All right. Next. Ooh, my questions just disappeared on me. Here we go. What is your favorite race to run or participate in, and what is your favorite one to volunteer at?
To run and participate, probably over the past, it's been Sylvan Beach. I think it's just a fun atmosphere. The beach finish, the Speedo competition. It's really probably the race that put us on the map as a team,
Hmm.
and not just a podiumed team, right? We had the races and there's people on the podium. We were getting notoriety there, but we showed up in force for this the first time, and I think it was the
Yeah,
first time people saw like, holy crap, there's a lot of them out there, and just the fun. Um, you know, it's a race, and especially if you wear a Speedo, it's a race where you can't take yourself seriously. You're in a Speedo, for God's sakes. So
yeah, really.
it really kind of highlights what this team is about. As high performers as we do have, we also know, I mean, nobody on the team really, or that I've seen, really takes it that seriously. If anyone's got an off day, they don't carry it into the tent. You don't see it after. So that's probably one of my favorite races. And of course, from a volunteer perspective, just my annual, as we just talked about, my paddle boarding for Ironman Texas, and then sitting
Yeah,
at the finish. And so when I get down in the channel, I'm kind of traffic control down there to get people around that last buoy. So I get to see literally every swimmer in the race has to come by me during that race. So it's kind of an interesting thing. I'll get call out to John Roche both times he's done the race. He'll be swimming. I'll see him and he'll take a breath, and all of a sudden he calls out my name on his breath, Steve-O! And I'm like, John, whatever. So an annual
yeah.
tradition
I gotta
when
admit,
John's in the
yeah,
race.
working the swim exit every year has
Yeah,
been, yeah, a staple. As long as I'm not doing it, which hasn't been for a few years now. But
yeah.
yeah, I love doing that, pulling people out, especially when I can grab their arm and give them a yank for that last, couple of yards, and they're like, "Oh, sweet, it wasn't ready for you to do that." Like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Oh, here's going back to the speedos. What is your favorite racing speedo, and what tips do you have for racing in a speedo?
main tip I have for racing in a Speedo is short course. Always short course. Um,
Yeah,
I haven't done the Olympic. I'm probably gonna do Sylvan Beach Olympic this year, so it'll be the first time I'll do anything that distance in a Speedo. I would imagine that some anti-chafing cream is your friend. Some waterproof thigh lubrication is probably going to be beneficial. But my favorite racing Speedo, just whatever the current one is. I like wearing, flying the colors. I don't have a one favorite over the other, so you'll see me out in the ice Speedo this year on the course.
nice. I don't know if I'm brave enough to do the speedo for an Olympic short distance. I
And hey,
agree.
I keep threatening, but you may see me on the Ironman Texas kayak in a Speedo one of these days too.
Nice. I don't know if I want to see that, but yeah, if it's
Yeah,
out there,
yeah.
it happens. All right, last question, and this is going to be a little bit more serious than silly speedo questions. So, what is your leadership's view of what the mission of the team should become? So, are you planning any changes, and what are the examples, formats, missions, all that other stuff that you have planned for the team?
Yeah, so I mean, we touched on it a little bit. I think kind of refocusing our communication channels into various methods of social media. So we talked about Instagram and YouTube channel and maintaining Facebook, but also with a web page and trying to reach our team members and using that as our primary communication method. I touched on the fact that we'll have you guys probably opt in for some communications, either via text or email or both, depending on what we do, so that we keep folks engaged. And we talked about it as a board. I think one of the main focuses we want to do this year is focus on engagement, and that's team engagement. That's us engaging with you guys, but as a team, promoting a higher level of engagement that seems to have been a little bit dwindling over the last couple of years. So whether that be a little more involvement in some of the local races and that post-race activity, whether that be more social activities outside of racing, we certainly will be doing some of that. We'll be doing some pop-up socials. Somebody just calls out and say, "Hey, I'm going to be at this brewery, or I'm going to be here, or whatever." Right? We'll make these things available. But I think the important message is this is your team, y'all guys. Get involved. You're going to
Exactly.
get out of it. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. So, if you want something out of it, we're here to listen. If we've got suggestions that you want to provide us, feel free to drop us a line. But again, it's a lot of this is up to you guys to make the team what you want it to be. So, if you're feeling left out of something for whatever reason, let us know. We're trying to be as inclusive as possible. You know, will we get to a point where we're hosting events? We're talking about potentially doing camps at some point. I got to figure out the logistics on that. I think this year for sure we'll do at least a supported day event down in Galveston to ride the course and maybe do a short run afterwards, so that type of thing. So we're working on that type of thing. So we're gonna focus a lot on team engagement. As for changes, I think those are the changes you're gonna see. I think what's been working, we're not gonna change, and what we feel needs some changes, we'll focus on. But that's where you guys can come in and tell us, yeah, hey, where are we falling flat? Where do we need help?
Yeah. And that's even one of the reasons we're doing this, trying to be more active and have more people get involved, and even mentioning the podcast on nutrition, that's something that was already a request from the team. So, you know,
Yeah.
send us what you want to talk about, send us what you want to get involved in, and that's exactly what we're going to do. And I mean, we're going to take that and run with it and try to, make the improvements or,
Yep.
make this team even better than what it is, So this is all about the team, not about, you know, coaching and
Yeah,
being on the
yeah. I
podium and
mean,
all
it,
that.
it,
We
it
want to have fun.
it's certainly not about me. I'll do what I can to help build the team the way we want it built, but it is going to take everyone on the team for it to be what everyone wants it to be. And we're always open to suggestions.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's it. That's all the questions. That's going to be the show. Mr. Steve Hardy talking about himself, talking about the team, all that awesome stuff that's coming down the line with swim caps and bottles and future
And
T-shirts
more.
and hoodies and all that in the team
Yeah.
store. Yeah, that's just the first month, 2 months that you've been in charge of the team. So lots happening already.
Yeah. Well, and again, we'll open lines of communication, levels of engagement. Just reach out, let us know if there's a topic you guys want to talk about, if there's, anything. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, exactly. Just send us messages, slide into the DMs. Send us
Oh,
messages on
he went there.
Instagram, Facebook, message Steve, message myself, and Cheryl, Gemma, all of us that are on the board. Anything you want to talk about or hear about or want to suggest, let us know. So, and we'll throw it on the show. We'll throw it up on the page on the website and all that. So, um,
Yep.
anything
Personally,
else,
I want
Steve,
to,
before
yeah,
we?
I want to thank you guys and the board. Obviously, you guys are doing a lot of work, and it's showing so far in results, and just again this level of engagement and kind of our mission around getting the team feeling like a team. So it's much appreciated there, and for all of you members out there that are active, stay active, and grab somebody by the neck and force them to be active too.
Yeah,
Again, it's this team's a lot more fun when there's a lot of people engaged.
yeah, absolutely. So, I guess with that, I'm gonna end it there. Thank you, Steve,
All right.
for coming on the show and doing your member highlight with us in person
Well, thank
as
you.
the new leader. Well, you've always been the leader, but now you're officially the
The
leader.
official,
You're
yes.
team dad. You're top dog. So I
And
appreciate you coming on the show
yeah,
and talking with
appreciate
us.
it. Thanks for the time. And just a reminder, get out to the website, and take a look at the sponsors. Each one of those logos links out to, the company. They provide us with the ability to do some of the stuff we're going to be doing. So keep that in mind, and thank our sponsors. So thank you,
Yeah,
sponsors.
yeah. Thanks, sponsors. All right. With that, thank you, everyone. Skull. Have a great day.
See you guys.